Hello and welcome to the Royalty Extra, where we take a deep dive into the workings of the royal family. With me now is Victoria Murphy. And we're going to discuss today, Victoria, the line of succession. It's something we talk about all the time. We refer to it all the time, not least of all following the death of the Queen. But how does it actually work?
We do, and it is important to, just kind of outline really exactly how it works. So quite simply, it is the position that royal family members have who are in line to the throne. Not every member of the royal family, not every working royal is in line to the throne, but those that are the ones who are the firstborn of the sovereign. Historically used to be the firstborn male, the first male child born to the sovereign. And the line of succession goes down, and then when it can't go down anymore, it goes across. So we see that it goes down from King Charles to Prince William to Prince George, and then it can't go down any further. So then it goes back up and across to Princess Charlotte, to Prince Louis, can't go across any further. So then it goes back up to Prince Harry, down to his children. And that's how it works. Historically, it has favoured males. So until very recently, for many centuries, it was always the firstborn son of the sovereign who would become the next in line to the throne. And if there were no male heirs, only then would a woman be allowed to take her place in the line of succession. So we saw when King George VI came to the throne and Princess Elizabeth was 10 years old, she did become his heir because she didn't have any brothers, but she was known not as the heir apparent, but as the heir presumptive, meaning that it was presumed she would become the sovereign. But if her parents had gone on to have a son, then even though he was younger, he would have overtaken her in the line of succession. That was, of course, changed in 2013, the Succession to the Crown Act. Some might say about time in 2013.
And the reason it was happening in 2013 was ahead of the birth of Prince George, the firstborn child of the then Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. They didn't know at that point whether they were going to have a boy or a girl. Is that right?
Exactly right. So when it became clear that this couple were hoping to have children one day, going to have children. This was something that was talked about, and the Queen actually signed this she gave this bill her royal assent in 2013, just a few months before Prince George was born, so that had he been a girl, he would not have been the heir presumptive, he would have become the heir apparent. She would have become the heir apparent, but obviously it didn't matter because Prince George was a boy. But where it really came into its own was, of course, when Charlotte and then Louis were born, because under the old rules, he would have overtaken her in the line of succession. But because things have changed, he didn't. And so the order is the order of birth, George, Charlotte, Louis.
And for Prince Harry and his children, Harry and Meghan having stepped out as working royals, but that doesn't change where he sits in the line of succession, or his children.
Exactly right. So one of the things that was made very clear when they stepped back as working royals was that Harry and Archie, it was just Archie at the time, would still be keeping their place in the line of succession, and that has remained the case. And as things stand, his children and his children's children will still very much keep their place. So that will be the case as things go on. Important to say that it didn't change things retrospectively. So what it did, this change, was that it meant that moving forward, any child who was born, boy or girl, would hold their position, but we didn't go back and redo everything. So
that's why Andrew and Edward are ahead of Princess Anne.
Exactly. So Princess Anne falls, and her children fall behind her younger brothers and their children in the line of succession, which continues to be the case. I think it would have been a very, very complicated thing to do, to go back and change things retrospectively. One thing that was changed retrospectively, though, was that the Act, when it was brought in, also undid what had previously been the case, which was that anyone who became Roman Catholic or who married a Roman Catholic was also not allowed to have their position in the line of succession. So Prince Michael of Kent lost his place in the line of succession when he married, but then he was reinstated after the rules changed. And here's an interesting example as well of how, when we talk about position in line to the throne, sometimes it seems like someone is quite high up, but actually there's no prospect at all of them actually ever becoming sovereign. So when Prince Michael of Kent was born, he was 8th in line to the throne. It sounds relatively close, but now he is 52nd in line to the throne. He's 80 years old.
So as the family grows,
yeah,
he finds himself going further.
The
and
natural
further down the line.
progression of things. So if you look at, for example, Harry and Meghan's children, you can see how in the future, when George, Charlotte, Louis, if they have children, if their children have children, that changes things dramatically.
Really fascinating. Thanks very much indeed, Victoria Murphy, for joining us here on the Royalty Extra.
Thank you.